Hello students, a very good morning. I hope everybody is doing well. Let's continue with our story, The Bell, written by Geeta Krishnakutty. But before that, let me remind you, please keep your books and your pencils ready to note down difficult words and their meanings. But before we continue with our story, let's have a quick recap of what we studied in part 1 of the story. Let's continue. Students, we studied in part 1 about a girl, who makes an announcement during the lamp lighting session in the temple that she is going to ring the bell in the sanctuary of the temple. But then when she comes back home, she is argued with her grown-ups. Her grown-ups, that is her family members, are angry on such of her behavior. She has a great argument with them, saying that everybody is equal in the eyes of God. If Thangam can ring the bell, Thangam is her friend, so can we, and so can I. So what they argue by saying that Thangam is the priest's daughter, so she has the right to ring the bell. But she says that we never treated her while she comes to play with us as if she is a priest's daughter. We treated her normally like any other kid. So why only the time of bell ringing she is given a separate or a special treatment? While she was doing all these kind of argument with her grown-ups try to pretend that they are not listening to her. But then later on, she encounters them murmuring that she goes through a very horrid school, that is an English medium school, and there she learns all these stuffs. Later on, what she does is, she happily and she is contented, she is satisfied with the argument that she made with her grown-ups, because it is a habit of her grown-ups that whenever they don't have any answer or whenever they try to lose the argument, what they do is they try to pretend as if they are not listening to her. So she comes to a conclusion that she was on her right point. After her bath, she goes for a ritual, that is a daily ritual of oiling her hair. Her mother oils her hair with a lot of oil that oozes out from her temples. Temples as in the flattened part of our forehead. She doesn't like it. Her mother stretches her hair and ties a big knot on the top of her head. She feels thankful that none of her friends are watching her like this in such a condition. Later on, what she does is, when nobody is watching her, she takes an edge of her skirt and she wipes out all the excess oil that is oozing out from her forehead to her neck and her back. Later on, she decides willingly to accompany her grandmother for her evening bath to the makeshift bathroom which is there behind her house. She generally does not like to go over there because, first, that it has a slippery floor, slimy floor, it has algae or fungus all over, the water seems to be dangerous, and it also has small little fishes that keep swimming around her ankles. They keep pecking her feet, and she is unable to control her balance because of it. Even after that, she does not make any fuss out of it because she is satisfied and contented with the argument that she had with her grown-ups. Now, the girl is all set to go for the evening lamp lighting session in the temple because she has announced that she is going to ring the bell. But this time, she is not alone. She is accompanied by their servant, old serving servant of their family, that is Kelu Nair. She does not like to be accompanied by him, but her parents and all the grown-ups of her family have ordered him to be very close to her and see to it that she does not do anything stupid. But what she does is, after a certain distance of her house, she tries to walk faster. She tries to make a big distance between her and Kelu Nair so that nobody notices her and him. She walks very fast. All the gravel, that is small little stones, tried to prick her, they were hurting her feet, but still she somehow managed to go to the temple. While stepping on the sun-warmed stone steps of the temple, she felt a bit relaxed that now she has reached to the temple. So far we have covered our story. Let's see what happens next. Alright, let's continue. The usual knot of women was gathered around the three-tiered stone lamp at the outer door, talking earnestly in hushed voices, their faces grave and sad. Kelu Nair edged as close to them as he dared. She knew he drank in every whisper that he could distinguish, and that he would impart it all, embellished with many scandalous details of his own invention, to her mother and great-grandmother over dinner tonight. Let's note down the meaning, children. Earnestly means seriously. Scandalous means disgraceful and improper. Embellished means to make something beautiful and decorative. Means when she went there to the temple, she noticed that there is a group of women and they are having a talk along with them, some serious talks. And Kelu Nair is trying to listen to each and every talk of what these women are doing. Later on, she knew that each and everything Kelu Nair is going to tell to her mother and grandmother with his own a few inventions in it. Means something more, entertaining, and something more, adding more spices to the talks. And he is going to say each and everything, whatever he heard of those women, to her mother and great-grandmother of the girl. As they started their ritual circling of the outer walls of the temple, she noticed that the football game had already begun in the courtyard beside the sanctuary of Krishna. She enjoyed watching the players, more so because of her obvious delight in the vigor of their game. So when the ritual of circling around the walls of the temple began, what did she notice? That there is a football game being played in the courtyard which is beside the sanctuary of Lord Krishna. She enjoys watching these players because she has a lot of interest in the vigor of what these players show while playing the game. Arriving at the sanctuary of Krishna, she saw the small door obstinately closed. Kelu Nair had told her time and time again that the image inside was unimaginably beautiful. Today, she circled it hurriedly, her mind full of her secret mission, and almost ran along provoking an incomprehensible torrent of protest from Kelu Nair, who could not keep up with her. So what does she do is, while she arrives at the sanctuary of Krishna, she notices a small door which is closed. Kelu Nair had constantly told her that there is an unimaginably beautiful image inside. Today what has she done is, she was all set with her secret mission. What was the mission? To ring the bell. Okay. And what has she done is, she ran there in an incomprehensible manner, means difficult to understand. Nobody could understand why is this girl running. She was running to protest against Kelu Nair. She was running because she knew that somehow this man is going to stop me from doing what she has decided to. The eastern facade of the temple always enchanted her. When she recalled it afterwards, as she often did, her memories were full of sound and color. The river ran through here, the jade green of its water melting first into the rice fields beyond and then into the luminous evening sky. In the enclosed area where the women bathed, shrill voices rose above the wet slapping of cloth against stone. What's the meaning of luminous? Luminous means bright and shining. What is the meaning of facade? Facade is the front wall of the building. So she likes the eastern side of the building. Which building? The temple. Why? Because she has a lot of memories collected, all memories full of colors and sounds. What she notices there is, she sees a river flowing there. Okay, and the river gets blended into the color, jade green color of the rice fields, and then into the evening sky. Luminous evening sky means bright and shining evening sky. She also hears the sound of wet clothes. Women are washing their clothes and they are slapping those clothes over the stone. How the women wash clothes in villages. They're doing the same at this particular eastern side of the temple. Also, she sees women having bath over there, the religious bath that women do in the river that is flowing by the temple. The rock beneath her feet was turning cool. She remembered that the hour of lamp lighting was near and hurried back through the shadow-filled hall. Beyond the tall golden flagpole, tiny pinpoints of light pierced the warm darkness of the inner sanctuary. Kelu Nair, muttering angrily, was close upon her heels. Rounding the wall, she acknowledged, with an involuntary intake of breath, the sparkling rectangle of flame that outlined the door of the corner sanctuary of Ayyappa. Muttering means to utter sounds or words with low voice. Acknowledged means to accept or admit. Involuntary means done, something which is done without any personal will. What happens next, children? What she encounters is that the stone beneath, the rock beneath her feet is getting cool. Means it's the evening time and the lamp lighting hour is nearing. She rushes to the sanctuary of Ayyappa. She rushes through the shadow-filled hall. Shadow-filled hall means, here a very beautiful description of evening is given. When the sun sets, okay, whatever comes across, okay, the shadow of the poles or the shadow of the window or the shadow of the walls are falling inside the temple. Okay, also a very beautiful description is given. When the sun is setting down, okay, the sunlight, the dim sunlight that is coming from the sun, okay, it is falling on the golden flagpole. Okay, we must have always noticed near or in front of any big temple, we have a big golden flagpole. So it has a very tiny holes inside. Okay, so the sunshine that is falling on the flagpole, from those tiny holes, those sunlight are falling on the temple, and she is noticing everything, and that small little light is warming up the temple, the darkness of the inner sanctuary. Okay, but meanwhile Kelu Nair has not left her side. He is muttering inside what kind of a girl she is, why doesn't she understand, and so on. But she is in her own world. She is just acknowledging the beauty of the flames that are coming from the sanctuary of Ayyappa. The flames, the diyas that are, the lamps that are lit during the evening time. And she is just mesmerized by looking at the beauty of these flames. Okay, and she takes an involuntary deep breath while looking at something beautiful, like how we do. She is in her own world. She is mesmerized by the beauty of the evening. She is mesmerized by the beauty of the flames that are coming out from the door of the Ayyappa sanctuary. And Kelu Nair is still stuck with her, muttering something about her and instructing her, advising her, but she is least bothered about what Kelu Nair is saying. Inside the temple, her feet lovingly caressed the cool stone of the inner courtyard, reveling in its smooth, worn feel. She bowed a perfunctory greeting to the little doll-like Parvati, crossed her arms and touched her ears before the dark. almost invisible Ganesha and came hurriedly upon the crowded main sanctuary. A familiar scent of hot oil and flowers, of vibhuti and wet clothes welcomed her, meaning of caressed, to touch gently and lovingly, reveling, taking delight. Perfunctory means routine. And what is vibhuti? It is a sacred ash made of burnt dried wood. Here again, children, a beautiful description of the inside of the temple is given. You can imagine any temple that you have visited, okay, and then you can relate to this particular paragraph. What she does is, when she enters into the temple, she lovingly touches the stone steps, like how whenever we enter into the temple or at a religious place, we touch the steps like this. Okay, she very delightfully touches the steps, the stone steps, and she enters into the temple. Then, like how in her routine way, she bows down in front of goddess Parvati. How she has described goddess Parvati? Doll-like Parvati, as in beautiful and cute. Alright. Then again, she moves ahead and she crosses her ears in front of Lord Ganesha, almost invisible into the dark, because it was an evening time. Okay, so because of the evening time, because of the low light, Lord Ganesha's sanctuary was completely into the dark. And then she hurriedly moves forward for her secret mission. Okay, what was the secret mission? The mission was to ring the bell. So there again, she notices a familiar scent of hot oil, okay, and flowers. Hot oil as in the oil that is burnt to lamp light, okay, and then flowers that are placed in front of God and goddesses. The smell of vibhuti. Vibhuti is the sacred ash, okay, made out of burnt dried wood. And the wet clothes. Now, what are these wet clothes? See, people often do their sacred, or you say religious baths in the riverside of the temple. So, and then they move towards for their ritual, for their prayers or pujas. Okay. So, everything was very much delightful for her, as everything has been there in her memory and she enjoys doing it and she enjoys seeing all these things. Okay. And everything, it was like, is welcoming her, all because she is going to do something which what her heart wants. The women of the Nambudri household stood in front in a tight invisible circle that no one else must touch, their eyes closed, clutching their thatch umbrellas that obscured everyone's vision, their lips moving in an ecstasy of prayer. She edged her way towards them, ignoring Kelu Nair's shocked whispers of protest, almost bumping into one of the ridiculous. When this girl enters into the sanctuary of Ayyappa, she notices that women of Nambudri caste, as in Nambudri is the caste, a Brahmin caste in South India, okay, Nambudri household, all the women have gathered around the sanctuary, okay, and they have as if they have formed an invisible circle, not allowing anybody to enter inside, and everybody's eyes were closed. They all were standing with thatch umbrellas. Thatch umbrellas are those which are made up of straws and stems or palm leaves, and these umbrellas were obscuring everybody's vision to see what's going inside. Okay, and their lips were moving in the ecstasy of prayers. Ecstasy means they all were excitingly saying their prayers. Alright, and then what she sees that Kelu Nair is there behind her, is there surrounding her, and she is trying to just ignore him, okay, and ignore her protesting words. And what she does is, without thinking anything, she just bumps inside, breaking one of the ridiculous umbrellas, as in she did not actually break one of the umbrellas, she just got inside, okay, breaking the circle. She saw Tangam standing near the steps, looking remote and rapt with devotion. The rhythm of the Edakka was mounting crazily, as the door was flung open. She blinked at the sudden vision of gold. Before she could regret her decision or go back upon it, she elbowed herself quickly through the untouchable circle of Nambudiri women. Nearly floundering on the slippery steps, the sight of the big bell above her touched her with a heady excitement. She could distinguish Kelu Nair's frantically whispered threats. But she reached up, rang the bell with one resounding clang, and was down the steps before he realized what was happening. Meaning of rapt is completely fascinated, floundering, struggling to move, frantically, agitatedly. What did she see when she bumps inside? She sees Tangam standing there near the steps. She is completely devoted in the prayers. Okay, and the rhythm of Idakka is echoing in the whole sanctuary. Idakka is an hourglass shaped drum which is played while the prayer goes on. She sees the door is open, and what she encounters is a golden vision. Okay, vision of gold. Vision of gold means she sees the big bell there inside. Okay, it was her mission to ring the bell, and while looking at the bell, now she is unable to stop herself to complete her mission. She elbows the circle, as in what she tries to do is she keeps pushing people, the crowd of people from her elbow, and she gets inside. Okay, floundering on the slippery steps means she was unable to walk. The steps were slippery and she was somehow trying to manage her balance while getting inside. And what she sees, the sight of the bell is right in front of her. Okay, right in front of her, and she is just now ready to complete her mission. She is just not thinking anything about Kelu Nair or about her family members, okay, or whatever threat she is going to get from Kelu Nair and her family members. What she does is she just reaches there up and she rings the bell, just one resounding clang. Okay, now she just rings the bell only once. Resounding clang as in what is going on, the oscillation of the bell keeps on going. Okay, and was down with the steps before he realized what was happening. Kelu Nair just did not realize what just happened. How did she manage to go inside, and how did she manage to ring the bell? And the bell just started resounding. The oscillation kept on happening, and everybody was in shock just now what had happened. Dimly she was aware of dark looks and subdued murmurs pursuing her as she permitted Kelu Nair to drag her away. Returning home in the gathering shadow, her imprecations grew louder and more vehement. Warnings of the great-grandmother's terrible wrath were becoming real. She paid no heed at all, for she felt wondrously light-hearted, excitingly happy. As she climbed over the stone stile to enter the house, she turned for a last look at the temple. It gleamed back at her conspiratorially, blessing her happiness. Meanings: subdued means depressed, wrath means extreme anger, wondrously, wonderfully, style, a set of steps, and conspiratorially means secretly. The girl knew, she was aware that after such an act, definitely people are going to give her dark looks. They will feel depressed, they will murmur about her, they will not feel good. What just happened, they all were shocked, and she allowed Kelu Nair to drag her out from that crowded place. While returning back, all her assumptions that she is going to get threatened from her family members was getting real in her mind. It was all getting, it was all coming in front of her, that when I'll go home, everybody is definitely going to threaten me a lot. But inside her heart, she felt satisfied, she felt light-hearted, because what she felt is she did right. Alright, and why did she feel so? Because it was her wish to do so, and she believed everybody is equal in the sight of God. Alright, and she was thinking as if when she was leaving, Okay, it just gave a last look to the temple, and it seems that temple is also looking back at her. It seemed gleamed, it was like shining like anything else. Why she felt it even more beautiful? Because she was feeling light-hearted and contented. Okay, and it feels that the temple is blessing her happiness. The temple is not at all sad of what she did, because who resides in the temple? God resides in the temple, and they never make any discrimination between his people. She was in dire disgrace. Their tight-lipped silence was more eloquent than speech, as was the conspicuous absence of her favorite tiny poppadums at dinner. The poppadums specially ordered for her every holiday and served regularly at her every meal. Meaning of eloquent, clear and strong. Conspicuous means noticeable. So when she reached home, nobody said anything. Everybody had their lips tightened. Nobody spoke anything about what she did. Definitely everybody was in anger, but nobody spoke anything. It was clear that being speechless is more eloquent for her than speaking something to her. But definitely she knew that she is not going to get her pappadums. Pappadums are the papad, general papad that you have. It is called as pappadums in South Indian language. She is definitely not going to get her in her dinner, in her lunch, or whenever she eats it, and especially when it is ordered for her. Every time in her holidays she eats them regularly, but this time, because everybody is angry on her, she is not going to get it, and she is very sad about it. She did not really care, for the silence seemed to be filled with 1,000 voices singing within her, and she was quite sure that the golden god within the temple, is in whose eyes all are equal, had accepted her gesture with love. So she believes the saying that everybody is equal in the sight of God. Okay, and though she was sad with the gesture of her grown-ups, her family members, but she did not care at all. Why? Because somewhere she feels that the God inside the temple, the golden God, the golden idol of Lord Ayyappa, which is there situated, placed inside the temple, has loved her gesture, and he has accepted it, because everybody is equal in the sight of God, and she has a strong belief in this. So if the God does not make any discrimination, so she believes that it is not a right of anybody else to make any kind of discrimination or difference. So in her mind, in her heart, she feels that God has accepted her gesture, and that is why she is completely satisfied and her soul is happy. Now let us focus on the value points of the story. Let us summarize the story and understand it in a gist. The story is about a girl who defies the elders in the family and announces her decision to ring the temple bell, because she believes that if her friend can ring the bell, so can she. She also believes that all are equal in the eyes of God. Her decision is greeted with disapproval because people of their caste were not allowed to do so. Nevertheless, she is readied and sent off to the temple under the strict watch of old Kelu Nair, a trusted servant of the family. At the temple, the little girl outwits Kelu Nair and elbows her way to the bell of the inner sanctuary and rings it. When she gets back home, she is in the black books of all the elders. But she is satisfied and sure that the God in the temple has accepted her gesture with love. Let's discuss reference to the context. Besides, she added, goading them deliberately, "We are all equal in the eyes of God." She was not quite sure whether they had heard this bit, for they had already turned away in disgust. is she? She is a girl who dared to ring the temple bell. Whom was she talking to? The girl was talking to other family members. What did she want to prove? The girl wanted to prove that all are equal in front of God. Who are they? What had they turned away in? Why had they turned away in disgust? They are the other family members in the household. They turned away in disgust because they were shocked to hear the viewpoint of the girl. Let us discuss the vocabulary part. The story is set in Kerala and describes the traditional lifestyle of a small town. Find out the meanings of these words. Idakka, Ayyappa, Nambudiri and Papadams. Let us have an image. Let us see what are these things. Here, Idakka is an hourglass shaped drum from Kerala in South India. Ayyappa is a Hindu deity popular in the southern India, particularly in the state of Kerala. These are the images of Idakka and Ayyappa. Nambudiri, a Brahmin caste of the Indian state of Kerala. This is how a Brahmin priest looks. Nambudiri priest looks. Papadams. A papadam or appalam is a deep fried dough of black gram bean flour, as in urad ki dal, popularly known as, either fried or cooked with dry heat until crunchy. Next question is, read the story carefully and figure out the meanings of these phrases. Make meaningful sentences with any 10 of these phrases. So you have to make sentences on any 10 of these phrases. I'll give you a sample of 3 phrases along with the meaning and sentences. First is excitement pervaded, meaning to spread through all parts of something. Sentence, a sense of excitement pervaded the room. Next, responded angrily, meaning when you react to something that is done or said in anger. Sentence, citizens responded angrily to the new bill passed by the government. Third, turned away in disgust, meaning a strong feeling of disapproval and dislike at a situation, person's behavior, etc. Sentence, I saw lifelong friends turn away in disgust. For rest all other questions, students, you have to do it as a homework. You have to search its meaning and you have to write down sentences on each. Alright? Children, I hope the story is followed by all. Everybody understood the story very well. But before I end, I would like to say that this story gives a message to every one of you. If you must have noticed that the author has not named the girl. Throughout the story, she has been called as the girl, a common noun. Why? Because she is representing every common person. The story gives us a message that whenever you come across any such kind of discrimination, try to listen to your heart. Try to listen to your mind. Whatever education you got or what knowledge you have, try to apply that practically. And when you apply, after applying that, after doing an act, after going against any kind of discrimination, if your heart and your soul feels satisfied, means you were not wrong anywhere. Definitely, you need to think about the consequences, but you also need to think that if someone has to raise a voice, and every common person must learn to raise their voice or to do something where any kind of discrimination happens. I hope this message is understood by all. Take care